with that in mind, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Welcome everyone to the April 11th, 2023 meeting of the Pearl L. Crawford Memorial Library Board of Trustees. Our first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And just staying with the agenda for a minute, we have some issues with regards to the meeting minutes for March 7th, so there'll be no action taken on that this evening. I would ask Kathy, I see you pen in hand, if you could be our backup perhaps this evening, just in terms of motions and votes and things of that sort. We unfortunately need a little security, a little. All righty, moving along then, we are looking at the director's report.
Programs we have next week will be busy because it's school vacation. So the weekends on the calendar. We are starting to nail down things for summer readings, so we look to have that schedule in place in the next month or so, at least as firm as it can be at this point. Yeah, so busy, we remain busy. Especially next week is really busy.
Well, it always typically is in school vacation
Yeah,
weeks.
but then we also throw in the Friends book sales.
Oh, wow. That's right.
List the dates for that, please. The 20th to the 22nd, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
And just in terms of our audience out there, if you're looking for a bargain on books, don't go to Barnes & Noble. Come to the Pearl L. Crawford Memorial Library starting on 420.
Overrun with donations.
We are.
We have to. The hallway outside my office is not at capacity. This is normally a backup storage, so we're not doing stuff in local season. Because we've got so much stuff that we need to do something with, so
Oh, good.
it should be a lot of fun.
All right, something to look forward to. It's usually very good as a fundraiser for the Friends, and hopefully continue to do so. Great. All righty. Do you have any questions with regards to programs? I see you provided us with a list of what happened in March and what happened in February, and a list as well of those that are upcoming.
Yes, are we getting later to the story time and monthly themes, or? Okay, sounds good.
All righty.
I have a question
Sure.
about programs. Did you list on, I didn't see it, but that doesn't mean anything. Is it considered something like we sponsored a vaccination clinic?
We
Oh,
did
yeah.
not sponsor.
Oh.
We provided the location. The Mass Board of Health. They have a vaccine equity initiative.
Yep.
They're reaching out to towns that have low vaccination rates.
I was just,
Yeah,
that should
no,
be on
they-
our list. I'm like,
They
to add.
approached us about essentially, it's just that we have an outside resource that helps.
How many
so
did-
that was not our.
How many did we have?
I don't
We
know.
weren't even keeping.
Yeah, no, because that was on them.
On them, okay.
So I'm not sure, to be honest, that was not so good.
So,
Well-
just out of curiosity, did Dudley have a low vaccination rate?
That's right, they reached out specifically to, we had one, I believe, Oxford had one as
Mhm.
well, there was another one that was in the area.
I didn't see it advertised or anything.
I didn't
knew
either,
nothing about
yeah.
it until I read it. And I was like, how do you promote that? Like, I didn't hear
Yeah,
about it.
no, they were supposed to handle all of the publicity and stuff,
Yeah.
and so, we tried to kind of spread the word, like I reached out to Fred Howard, to let him know what's happening, and seeing some to say, hey, we're having this, but like I said, it was, they used our space for it.
I just don't think many people knew about it.
I think I put it on Facebook because they sent me the thing, and was like, here's what
Okay.
we're advertising and everything.
So hopefully they provided promotional information
Yeah,
out
that
there
was-
somewhere.
I mean, that was, like I said, it's like any other outside group that uses our
Right.
space, so it was just kind of
Well,
I misunderstood though. I thought we sponsored. Did they ask and we
I
sponsored?
guess we were a partner, host, something, I'm not sure how they phrased it, but, yeah, they handled that with them.
well, I guess unfortunately that's a reminder that this thing called COVID is still with us and not entirely in the rearview mirror. hopefully folks will heed the, the precautions and get the vaccinations up to date. That sounds too political. All right. In any event, budget. I see we still have 2018 lingering.
That is, well, you have to bear in mind that that is as of the end of, February. That is, so the numbers for things like state aid, were still, the latest report that I got from the state was from February.
I was just
So
gonna say, it was always like a
it's
month or
always
two
several
behind.
months behind, so those numbers are as of February.
Yeah.
Has that money been spent?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, good.
It was part of another thing, the accounts today. So it should eventually get.
Another month or two,
but,
maybe you'll see it gone.
But yeah, you always have to bear in mind that those numbers are a couple months away.
All right, well, it looks like everything is on track for the most part, unless anyone sees anything that is an issue. I know there's been discussion in terms of within town hall, and obviously you've been involved in that as far as a possible budget or tentative budget in terms of trying to anticipate the results in terms of the override that is voted.
Yeah, so we are looking at, all department heads were asked to do a 10%
Right.
cut.
But nothing will happen until after the vote is tabulated and decisions will be
Yes,
made.
and so they're doing the vote in April, which, 10% for us, we can, it would be really high, but we could still keep the doors open, we could still have services, but some of the other
Yeah.
companies, 10% is, it is not going to be cut. So we're waiting for that, and I understand if it's not passed in April, it will bring it to town meeting in May, so we get second chance. That's the plan, but so all departments are preparing for it.
Okay. So effectively, nothing has happened yet. It's all planning and
No,
the sort of things that you need in place in
first-
advance of.
Yeah, special election is April 25th.
Right.
And then, town meeting.
All righty, facility report?
Knock on wood, everything is functioning.
Oh, good. I think at some point, maybe we could sit down together, if anyone wanted to come in, put together kind of a punch list, because we talked about a number of things, like the doors, for example, in terms of facilities. And I know we haven't been able to do anything, and it looks like, this doesn't look like spring, this looks like summer is with us now, so maybe opportunities for some of that.
All of those are, I have a running list.
Right.
And it's like the flagpole.
Flagpole,
Fire
right.
department's list. All of those things are on people's lists, but I can't say, oh, we're doing it next week.
Now, if I may, I picked up some litter on the property this morning, and somebody had a bag of mesquite charcoal. I don't know where the charcoal was, but the bag was on the lawn. Yeah,
Well, and you
unfortunately.
have to bear in mind that there are apartment buildings right behind us. so
Now,
you
does the
really-
highway department, do they, as part of their maintenance, do they pick up the litter on any kind of a regular
Well,
basis?
not on a regular basis, I think
No.
I've only seen it happen twice.
We do have kind of a restart in April 22nd. There is Earth Day in Dudley. And hopefully some of those folks with the yellow vest will find their way to the property, because we do routinely end up with this, that, and the other thing
Well,
that's
that
there.
is one of the things on the application, is that, ways that service.
Right.
But let's say.
But that's not until June.
I think I've only seen it happen twice, and when
But-
the weather cooperates, we have asked the boys to come and check it.
Oh, good.
Shooting for them to go up, but the weather has to cooperate for that.
Right.
Only here, they're really not here, so.
Yeah.
April 22nd, when you're talking about that, what do you mean?
It's Earth Day, April 22nd.
No, I know that, but I'm
Right.
saying people in the, like,
Dudley,
who's that?
Dudley, the town of Dudley,
Yep.
has an Earth Day thing where you can go pick up essentially trash.
You go to the town garage on Indian Road, I think it starts at 8 in the morning,
Give out bags.
and they will give you bags, and I think you get a vest or something,
And
so.
they give you gloves as well, I don't remember what all it is.
And,
We encourage you to can out and for the trash.
and shame on us, because, I mean, there are sections of town that are just horrible. I mean, I don't know
On
what's
the side of the
happening.
road.
They go down past the courthouse, it's just on both sides. There's plenty to pick up.
Yep.
So, anyone who's inclined to volunteer finds himself available that morning, I'm sure they're welcome. Alrighty. So again, we'll work on some kind of a punch list and some of those things that have been kind of lingering. Weather seems not to be an issue now. We have, in this one, we've had on the agenda for a number of meetings and have not taken any final action on it. That's the director's draft collection development policy. And I think the last thought was there was some verbiage we were going to change at the towards the end of that document.
Yeah,
Send it to
I
us?
sent it to everyone. Sure.
I'm sorry?
I sent it to everyone.
Send it
Okay.
to everyone
All right.
within a day or two of our.
Okay. And
So tonight.
do we want to act upon that this evening?
Yeah, well, the state, Mass Board of Library Commissioners has now made a requirement that we need that policy.
Really?
So, yes, and has sent out a list of, hi, these are the libraries that do not have this policy, and you might want to move on that, so it would be helpful. if you
Oh.
go ahead and
All
approve that.
right. Okay.
I do have a question before we prove anything.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question about the age. It said that anyone, any child can check out any book regardless of the age. And I personally don't think that's a good idea. I
I
think,
mean, that's on the parents to say what is appropriate for their child, but what are we going to do, ask every child, and increase how old you are before we have to check them out?
no, but there are children who are 4 or 5 and they can already read. And as a parent, you can't really go through every single page that a child is going to read at some point. And I think certain types of books should be in a different section, because that's why we have mystery, we have fiction, and we have children's books. So some books should not be in the children's section. So I really struggle a little bit with the age.
That is a standard library guideline,
Mhm.
that anyone has access to anything in the children's reading requirement. That is not on the staff. That is true with every library, that is sort of a professional ethical
Mhm.
thing, that try to be separate, and materials are placed where they are by reading level.
Mhm.
It's not on the children's department, so unless there's something that somebody doesn't want their child to read, and we also, if a child brings something up to the human circulation, it's cut up and then we'll present it.
Mhm.
And the children says, here's this stack of 8 books, and mom or dad is circulation.
This is exactly the reason why I'm saying this. I don't think anyone should read anything, especially if they're 4 or 5. And I saw a few books that I wouldn't want my son to read.
But some parents,
Some parents,
Right.
true. Okay, some
So,
parents. But there's another side.
we don't say, as librarians, we do not say, you don't want this book, so we're going to remove it forever.
Mhm.
It is your individual choice that you'll follow.
Okay.
And that is a standard, and it's a professional code that comes from the American Library Association, that librarians do not censor this information.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter what the age is, that is our consent.
But it seems like there is a certain agenda that is being pushed. And we don't have also the other side, the people who don't want their children to read those books. We don't have that. We only have pro. We only have pro certain things. We don't have against. So if you're saying that anyone should read anything, that's fine with me. But then we should provide everything. We shouldn't only provide pro activism, pro LGBTQ, pro all these things. We should also provide. And then they have to choose. Can I finish? Can I finish? And then the parents really can choose between 2 different options. Right now, we're only giving them one option.
Well-
And it's hard to put it on one child who's 4 to decide whether this is true or not, when we are, as a society, we're still deciding if we're going with this narrative or not. It's hard to push it toward children right now because we adults don't know how we should go about this.
So people have the right, if I understand correctly what we most recently been discussing, you have the right as a parent or someone else has a right to have a book, if she wanted a book, isn't this kind of what we
Yes,
just
yes.
talked about, like removed, or could it be recategorized? Could they put in a request, like not to be removed, but recategorized, that,
Well, in the children's, understand that your objection to children's books for the 4 and 5-year-olds, because the children's department is parent and the girls department, they don't put out next year girls here and the books are in the over here and the stuff in the here.
Mhm.
I mean, there are parents who really do not want their children reading anything about unicorns or fairies.
Mhm.
I know it.
Okay.
And so they simply say, my child will not check this out. And if they look at what the child is checking out, okay, that's not appropriate.
Mhm.
Well, I
And-
would think that, if I may,
Go
I would
ahead.
think that if it's a 4 or 5-year-old is probably coming to the library with an adult, and I think we put the burden on that adult in terms of being responsible as far as what they're allowing that child access to. And if you have a specific in terms of a book,
Mhm.
which you think is inappropriate, then we would be voting on a procedure, possibly voting on a procedure this
Mhm.
evening to address that. And where the outcome would be is will be determined based
Because
on
the
it.
books that are into different communities, if you feel that you should have, you're more than welcome to
Um,
I think
and
as a.
I appreciate, you thought in terms of you're looking for something that is balanced,
Mhm.
and my experience with scales is it's pretty tough to keep things in balance because somebody's always got a thumb on one side or the other, so it seems. So that would be a struggle that will go on, I think, forever, if you will.
Mhm.
But again, if there is a specific that you have objection to, I think we're open to trying to
Yes,
figure
yes,
that out.
there are specific books, but I think as a parent, it's hard for me to catch all these books that I want to challenge. I think it's easier for me to bring this to the table right now and kind of like explain the situation. It's not about that. I would remove the part where it says that the age does not matter. That anyone can check out anything, because clearly there are some books that are not meant for children, even if it says for 4-year-olds or 3-year-olds or 5-year-olds. This is a new wave. We're coming to terms with this, so we don't know.
This is appropriate for your child and as for the others.
Mhm.
It is on individual.
Then we should have all opinions, not just it's geared towards one type of behavior. We don't have everything. We're convincing people to agree with certain things. We don't have all opinions.
So you would like me to help us with the community is not okay, or see, I'm not
okay.
understanding what the issue is. If you are a parent,
Mhm.
I have no right to parent you. You would have no right to parent me.
Mhm.
You as a parent are responsible for the your child
And I would say if we approve this tonight,
Yeah.
if you have a problem with a book.
Or
you
a
could-
series of books.
Yeah, you could classify that and submit that to the library.
In other words, just
To recategorize it in a different age group, I don't know, like not removed, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think I understand that there's an issue here, but I think we're dealing with it in a very general way. I think we need to get into something specific, and a particular book would be the specific that might start the conversation.
Mhm.
And that might result in something in the way of action, but right now, talking about it in such a general way, I think
We can get specific.
You
I
got-
can give
you
you an
got a
example.
specific book then?
I don't have the title, but I have the contents. I know what it's
Okay.
about.
So let me get back to the thought originally in terms of the agenda. The agenda is to approve a collection development policy, if you will,
Mhm.
which would give you a mechanism by which you could bring this issue to the fore or to the table and get some sort of feedback at least, or maybe you might not get the result that you want, but at least it would get the topic somewhat contained and it could be discussed, and then something potentially could happen as a result. Without that policy, we don't really have a mechanism in place at this point. So I think if you want to pursue this and go forward, I think it might behoove us to vote on this policy, and if the vote were in favor of it going into effect, then you then have the process that you can follow and we can move forward in that direction.
I will come out, the library meeting day and night, on our website, the by the board, it says, the person's right to use the library is somewhat materials, do not be denied or abridged, without further fee, on the deed. So the age, not that you are, it's not confused for
Do you think that any child should read anything at any age? Anything, absolutely anything, just like let's,
just about everything, but that's up to them. I think that it is a parent's responsibility to determine what is appropriate for the child. I have absolutely no right to say what's appropriate for an individual child. I have no right to say that because you think this thing is appropriate, everybody should have to adopt it. It's like on the parents of each child to determine what is appropriate for their child.
I understand that, but no parent can read every single book and every single page before they check the books out. It's absolutely impossible. So we read all the books in the library before
Well,
we check out.
If
Maybe you can check them out and you read them before you give them your child.
ultimately, it somehow it's gonna work itself down to the 4 and 5-year-olds, the parental element. That's either whoever the caregiver is, whether it's a grandmother, grandfather, a parent, a guardian, or whoever, it's gonna be on them in terms of that responsibility. And Kathy, what you suggest is probably a good idea. You know, if the kids select a collection of books, well, before, it's like Halloween candy, before they get into the candy, you kind of look through that to see that there are things that are okay and things that aren't are taken out and thrown away. Not thrown away, no, we don't throw them away. We bring them back, but bring them back unread and unused. But if there is there is an element here in terms of parental responsibility, especially when we're talking to 4 and 5-year-olds.
But it is not, I mean, it is very nice, every professional library, they're trying to tell you that. But it is not the library's place to dictate what is available to children, not just parents.
And I agree with you as long as we offer everything, but we don't offer everything. We
Well-
only offer one opinion.
But on the other, there are plenty of things available in the collections that show a traditional book style as well already. So unless you don't want to get to the area where it's going to be discriminatory.
I think the
either way.
traditional is it's becoming less and less than the new way. I'm sorry, this is how I feel. I feel like I'm making everyone going through a hassle.
Okay.
We can't buy books that aren't published.
Right.
So Rita and I both look at reviews, we look at bestseller lists, reviews, so there's a limited amount of money.
Mhm.
We buy what meets the criteria of what are bestsellers, which I have all of those, and then what get the highest reviews by the people that know books.
Mhm.
You can make recommendations.
Mhm.
If there's something that you
Yeah,
would
if
like
you-
to show
right.
what you'd like to see.
I understand
That's a
that.
good point. I mean, this is not just to address the issue in terms of what we have on the shelves currently. This can be used to look at things that we might not have, the possibilities that exist there. Again, I think if we had a specific in mind, it would help with the conversation right now. Anyone care to make a motion or the board's pleasure with regards to the director's draft collection development policy?
I mean, I'll make a motion that we accept, or is this a new policy, create a new policy for the library, the collection development policy that we've all reviewed and voted on, is all to be sent to everyone.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second? And we have a second. Is there any discussion, further discussion? I think we've already discussed it to some extent. All right, hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. And opposed? Okay, so we have 3-1. 3 in favor, 3 votes in favor, and 1 opposed. So we now have a policy, and we'll see where that takes us. Moving on, and this is something that Kathy raised a question about, is the library website updating, where to find the library on the town website. Did I capture that?
Yes, well, I had two different issues. One is been taken care of, I noticed it was updated.
Okay.
Adriana wasn't on there for a long time, listed as one of the trustees,
Hmm.
and
Oh.
it is on there now. Updates of the staff is in there, so that's all good. That's the question I got about updating that part. And then I had missed the March meeting, and I was looking all over to find the video.
Ah,
So
If
see
you
if
go
I
to,
could.
well, first of all, it was non-existent.
Okay.
If you go on the library, if you wanna find the video, which is different than our page,
Yeah.
on the, town website, so
Yeah.
bring it up, there is a, YouTube symbol. So YouTube, Square, click on that, it will take you to the town. All of the meetings and the.
All right, I couldn't find it listed anywhere.
no, you won't find it. Apparently, there is a rousing recording of the agricultural commission out there somewhere
Instead
instead of
of the.
the library, so.
But I also noticed when you're going to look for the library, and it says town government, and it says
Uh-huh, departments.
government departments, and then boards, the library trustees are not on there at all.
No, but the library itself is on,
It took me a while to find it, but I did
yeah,
find
you,
it.
you
It's
don't
not
click.
user friendly.
Do not
No.
click on the thing that says government.
Yep.
You click on the thing that says government, you get somewhere completely different. It's probably not sure that it's got something.
I did find it
We're on the
eventually, but
site.
it wasn't really easy to find, and I thought, gee, if
And
somebody
we're not,
needs to find
Mm.
something
we're,
in the
none of
library.
us are sure why some departments are listed on the board and some are listed
Right.
like that. But
Yeah.
anyhow, it's right, when it drops down, we're at the top. It's nice, you can find it without too much.
So my question about updating from the library website is it still lists total Saturdays, September through,
Oh, really? Okay, I need to amend that.
oh, when did you correct it? Was it like-
Oh,
Oh, no.
Hang
It
on.
came actually in my email, so would that have been a newsletter?
Yes, probably the newsletter.
So the newsletter was not corrected.
Yeah, I know, the
Oh.
library hours say Saturday 10 to.
Good.
That's it.
No, but the
The
newsletter.
newsletter found it.
Right,
Oh,
I'll
okay.
let Nina know, because that's, and she probably did it.
Yeah. All of these wonderful platforms in terms of websites and all of the media that's available to us, it's a task, really, to keep all these things in sync. And, personally, I've had a number of experiences where things were showing for a particular group or location with an open date, but when you got there, they weren't there. Then maintaining these and keeping them current is a chore.
So the hours is directed, I really like the direction, in case you don't have GPS, just how you got planned everything.
Oh, good.
Those heading to your app, right? I think just about everyone now, they just plug it into their phone and that's their app.
Moving along, we have, oh, sorry, Catherine,
On
sorry.
the website, I didn't know if there was something else I was thinking,
Right,
I
hours
just added myself.
or the time.
I just, it just flew right out of my head as I was reading.
But if you can't, you ever can't find something that's from the shouldn't you know the town's website is a little.
Gotten better?
It is better, but
Yes.
even I find it a
Yeah.
little difficult sometimes, but I'm on there all the time, so.
The town website has definitely gotten better.
I think it already done it.
Yeah, I think the best thing is to just kind of plod through it until it becomes a little easier.
On the website, I was looking for minutes, because it
Yeah,
had been
because
approved
it
by
had
us
been,
already.
well, yeah, because
Yep.
Lisa didn't have a video to look up.
Yep, that's, okay,
Yep.
that's what it was.
Yeah,
Okay.
all right, and when next on the agenda, we have the waiver application, but obviously that's pending in terms of the vote on the
And that
25th.
won't happen until, probably October, November.
Okay.
Because we have to do the state report in the fall.
If it happens at all.
If it happens, we have to do the state report in the fall, and then the state says, hi, you need to apply for a waiver. So that's not even something that we can do.
And why would we be, this is the patient, why would we be applying for a waiver?
So
I
with
know.
the 10%, with a 10% cut to budget, you are in violation of state regulations regarding highway funding. And because of where I have to take the 10% cut, we will also be in violation of the state expenditure requirements. So if you have, certain percentage of our budget consideration. But which would mean that you would have to apply for a waiver because you would not qualify for the that's additional funds you would not receive for the cuts. You would get a waiver. With a 10% cut, you would be required, or the state moves on Ludo, you would be required to get equipment and costing and design and it's a more complicated process. So, and there's no guarantee. So,
And if we're not given a waiver,
then you lose state funding, first of all, and then also in danger of losing taxes.
so we say in danger of, why just in danger of?
It takes a second year if the town does not move off the full difference to that 10% cut, even not go back, they will not pass the next year. I mean, that's nuts, because of everything that's 10%, it's not even gonna have 10% back. The second year is still based off of the first year, and what that means is that any W resident would not be able to use any other library in the state, and that includes requesting books from other libraries to be delivered, that includes popping over to Webster and using their library. These cards would only work at the W library, and it would need all of the delivery, it would need all of the research and yeah, it would be massive, massive. It's like you could show up at the rest of the library and be like, I live now on the road, and they would be like, sorry. It would be major, far beyond that.
I just wanted people to know.
I think that was, that was good to get that public information out there and people can weigh that in with all the other things that are being provided as far as information regarding the April 25th election. Moving along, and this was something that Adriana proposed, the monthly theme and story time, and I think we almost jumped into that earlier, but I would ask you to elaborate on it if you would, Adriana.
I think Drusilla was gonna tell us what Lita discussed with the person from Charlton.
Yeah, so we went to the Charlton Library and found out how we were doing it. So Rita and the police over there and discussed it. They're also concerned because all of the children's covering in this week. We meet regularly and we try to have people to be doing things so that everyone will So Rita's takeaway tonight was not something to do with the committee. All kinds of programming they don't, and you have to computers and
So what did they offer that we don't got as far as the children?
They switched out the team and the children's room every month.
Oh.
So when we have monthly displays, that kind of children's based on
Were these children in the different libraries?
No, these are all their friends.
Okay.
Sure.
So they have a lot of stories in there that they service staff but Charlton Library, and I think is able to see the fact that we were struggling for this really young for tuition at Charlton, ideas and coffee center. We were just like, we've got 3 kids home now, so there's not time to they go and talk to me about it and listen to it and talk to the work
So why exactly would not work? Because they have 3 people and we have 1?
Well, they have many more people than us.
Okay.
They got circle 10 people.
Mhm.
There's a lot of stories.
Mhm.
How much
It's not about duplicating, it's about offering our children what other towns have accessible. And like Charlton is 20, 30 minutes away. We would want our children to benefit, and it doesn't have to be the exact same thing. They can do something completely different.
The children from Charlton can too, is we have the whole thing, like, it doesn't go to Casino. They don't have to live, they we have 15 minutes. We have kind of, 14 minutes to get tomorrow.
I just don't think it's duplicating at all. I think we have our own things or,
Yeah.
things that, I don't know if that would be duplicating it at all. And considering 1,000 books before kindergarten, that's appropriate, that's not something kids come in every week at 3 o'clock on Thursdays and do 1,000 books in kindergarten.
Well, that's not how the themes work.
How do they work?
The themes are essentially just like, they put, I don't know, say it's firemen.
Mm-hmm.
So books out on display are about firemen,
Mhm.
and fire service.
Mm-hmm.
Where we put out, like right now, we have upcoming books about spring, and some spring activities that we can do.
Mhm.
Okay.
We do that much, but they also have, they stop their toys out there. I mean, I don't know where we have stores, except I smuggle it out, but, they have a much smaller, like, play area, so they can pop up here with toys that match their theme, they do these things, so we have activities that go for display and kind of a different way, like, so when I explain, we have intentions like installing, children's room and coloring sheets that we go that's what we do.
I understand. I just think some variety and diversity would actually be beneficial for our children instead of relying on another town and driving over there to get services that we can get over here. And offering some books and some toys that go with it and having a theme, that happens a lot in kindergarten and preschool. It's something very, it's more of a display of books. It's not, we don't have a collection of toys and books that go together and are like organically.
Mhm.
It's a little different.
If you want to store a bunch of toys, like I said, I guess you could store them instead. We don't have the room, they have a large storage room that's dedicated to the toys, so we don't have.
What do we have
It
in,
comes into an issue too on cleaning tools, that would be
Right,
another,
that's another issue,
that's
yeah.
a whole nother thing I think about if you are, like, staff-wise, it's, you can't clean the tools.
mm,
And clean them regularly because that's minimal, that doesn't get done.
and it would happen once a month. It wouldn't happen every day. And if anyone needs help, I volunteer to do it. I can't really provide storage, but if we can find some storage in somewhere in the library or
We have several volunteers in the business
Mhm.
All of it, I'm thinking about the help with, because it's only Nita, we don't have the staff, but like, could we, we have volunteers, but, yeah, I mean, I like the
No,
problem
but
solving,
Like I said, I'm still-
instead of saying why we can't do things, like, it's always what I seem to hear, I'd love to hear how we can problem solve, how can we make it happen?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you're saying that we do have a monthly theme? What's the monthly theme? That's a display. It's a display of books.
And then she also has the scavenger hunt on Saturday, and she has coloring sheets that are related.
So we're already doing it if we already have a monthly theme.
Okay.
We just don't swap out toys.
Okay.
That's not
I'm-
something that we're
I just staying with that thought in terms of theme, what is it that your expectation is with the theme? Apparently, I understand that we have one part of the theme, which would be a display, and we have a collection that's in conjunction with that display, and coordinated with that display. Is that a theme, or do you want something else in terms of theme? Sounds like you're searching for something else.
I was looking for manipulatives and toys and activities that go with a certain theme geared towards children.
Okay,
It-
so if we're
it-
talking about spring flowers at
Yeah,
present,
so like I said, right now, if you go to the children's department, if you keep doing it today, you see a scavenger hunt to find spring flowers and identify, where the gardens, what the different flowers are.
Mhm.
She has, Ellen, she's been on last week, but we were today, and I like, choice of food for teaching some other things, so we just, everybody we can have. We just don't have the toys because that's the way we pick.
Not sure what to say about storage. I don't know anything about storage.
one of the issues too, I think with toys would be, if you have a theme, and you have a collection of toys, you're constantly buying new toys, or replacing toys. Where do you store all these things eventually? It's,
Child thing has to, buy new ones regularly, and they're not small things. We need it in their capacity.
I think our floor space in terms of the children's side of the building is probably equivalent to, if not larger actually, than what they have for floor space at Charlton.
I agree.
Yeah. So I don't know, they are in a building which, I understand what you say, has storage areas that they could utilize, and they could put things away and bring them out when they need them, and we obviously don't have storage like that as there is here. It almost sounds like we need to tailor rental in terms of rent your toys for the month, and then you can return them and get another bunch.
There's probably options out, that's what I'm saying, Richard, what a wonderful idea. Like, my feeling is I want a problem solving mind, how can
Yes.
we make it happen versus we can't do that.
I agree.
One possibility in terms of rotating toys within the area.
Yes.
The Dudley
What
toys go to Webster, and the Webster toys go to Charlton, and the Charlton toys go to Oxford.
If it's
and-
related to the theme, then you're not all gonna have that.
But if everybody's doing the same theme,
Right.
that kind of runs out.
I can ask Rita to address that idea, be like, hey, can we borrow toys from whoever?
Yeah, I mean, materials are always going in and out of the building, so just put another box.
Not really to the library.
Well-
There's locations,
But we're at least in the
But
business
that's
of receiving things and moving things.
Yeah.
Type of thing we can look at,
Yeah.
that, has them for rent, or you don't pay much to buy them, or for them, and then come up and then.
I mean, I don't know of any for like children's toys and nuclears, because a lot of the issues they can back in.
Yeah.
But that's really with any toys, and we do have toys over here that we have to clean.
What is the team policy for toys right now?
That's one of the things that the boys do on our Friday.
Mhm.
So they just get washed weekly?
They get, wiped down with like Lysol. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Maybe not weekly.
No, that's good. So I think we need to develop this a little bit further.
Like I said, I will have Rita at the next, children's research meeting, ask if anyone's willing to do like a loan or a swap or something.
Well, I really wonder about libraries, like, if, just to make it easier financially, it would be more feasible to all libraries involved if they met and rotated things like that. But if the children's librarian from the areas, that they get together for these regional meetings, met once, twice a year, and kind of plan their curriculums together.
We
They
very
do.
much do.
Yeah.
That should be an easy way to rotate through.
They plan, so our story times are not at the same time.
No.
That does
Yeah.
not be possible, and who's doing what
Yeah.
programs and that kind of thing.
I think at that point, it's very hard for a library to have everything, or to be able to fund everything, if you will, so that maybe regionally we can have everything, but we don't necessarily all have to have our own everything, if you will. Well, we got a good conversation, I think, going on that, and hopefully we can change things up a little bit. I'm not too sure if we're gonna have any significant changes, but I like the spring flowers. Hopefully it's a happy thing. Can
Although
we?
it's not just the door, like it's.
Inside, yeah.
the whole-
I did notice in the children's section today, the far wall, something that's, did the wall been compromised, or something come off the wall? It looked like some of the sheetrock. Or maybe somebody painted something on there, and I didn't understand what it was. All right, I'll have to look at that
I
again.
don't know.
It was pretty noticeable. It was towards the bottom of, near the emergency door on the far wall. of logo to the floor. There's a big section that looked like it was brown for some reason.
Well, I mean, it's probably because of it was kicked it or
Well.
got dragged against it or something.
Yeah, okay. Moving along, if we may, outreach opportunities, programming, email addresses. I don't know that we haven't covered this already. I don't think there's much more there. We haven't any further interaction with our friends at Nichols? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken to them and let them know about
Yeah.
what's going on, but I haven't gotten any. I mean,
Okay.
they've been like, thank you for the information, and we'll pass it on.
And one of the banners up there is something about service. It has service on it. And I was hoping that one might have a service with a community focus, but maybe
We
not.
also reached out to 3 people and never got back.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I did get responses from the dean's office, from, I haven't heard from him, but she was the, she was like the faculty coordinator, and she was going to pass it on to faculty. So I know that we went somewhere.
May I ask another question? Sorry.
Sure.
I'll go back to number 7.
Oh, we're going back
Sorry.
to number 7.
We
okay.
did talk about the monthly theme, but we didn't talk about story time.
Oh,
I
no, we
asked
didn't.
you if
We'll be starting the first week in May, Wednesday afternoon, to the
Wednesday afternoon, May 1st,
whatever the first Wednesday in May is.
and what time, please?
You would have to check the calendar, but it's set
Could we push it a little bit to 4, 4, 4:30?
4 o'clock. I don't, like I said, I haven't,
First
Like, it
Wednesday
should
in
be
May
in the
would be the
afternoon.
3rd. Is that right?
Third.
We used to, I think in the past, we used to have volunteers come in and do the reading for story time. And as I recall, Mr. Craver in particular
we occasionally
was
have,
very dynamic in his presentation.
we occasionally do have guest readers, but it's generally Rita, because she has her plan for the month
Mhm.
and her bond with her little ones, so that's.
Okay. Well, maybe we put Mr. Craver on the docket somewhere down the road. I remember his as being a very dynamic presentation. The kids enjoyed it.
So the
greatly.
time is the only thing.
Yeah, I'm not
Can we do
sure.
4,
Maybe
4:30,
4.
please?
She may have said 4, I just know that she's starting it in May,
Okay.
the first Wednesday in May.
Can you please let us know when you find out? Thank you. That's it. We can go to number 9 on that. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. I'm going to skip, I think we dealt with number 9. We'll go down to Connor status. I did see that we had an invoice from KP Law.
We did, the project went out to bid on March, it went out on March 27th. It is on Combis and the Commonwealth of the States. They have kind of a clearinghouse
Mhm.
here, so Michelle put it out there, it went in the paper. It's gone out to, I know that Studio MLA sent it to a couple of firms that they've worked with in Central Mass, just as a, hey, Laura's here. Bidding closes on the last Friday of the month, so John Reed and I will open both
Last
that
Friday.
afternoon. And once I have something resembling organized packets, we have to figure out which ones meet the basic criteria. Then I can organize.
You meet with them too?
Yeah, I think so. Probably will be, yeah. We've had, kudos to Drusilla. We've met a couple of times with the attorney and with the folks from Studio MLA. And I will, full confession, I've run out of patience pretty much with Studio MLA.
Yeah, so the opening of the
And
bids
I think
is-
at that last invoice we got from KP Law, we split that with them, because I think that second meeting was at their instigation, they asked for that one, as I recall. And we very graciously accommodated them. Well, let me say no more.
Bid opening is just opening the bids, it's not even reading them, it's opening the bids and going, yep, this one met the basic criteria that we've outlined. And John would have sort of checked something off and that, when oh, no,
I
like,
think it hurts to be.
but I mean, if
Oh,
you'd like
well.
to then I will assemble everything into packets with all of the bids that were received that meet the criteria.
and there'll be a sort of an evaluation or ranking sheet, and then each board member can pick that up and go through them and, rank them as they.
And of course, the hope is that we get multiple bids. And we'll see what that, and that those that we receive, or at least a number of those we
Do we
receive.
know if any of them received?
None
Well-
have been received yet. It is a 338 page bid
It-
package,
it's-
so, I'm guessing that it would take a bit. And I know that it did not go live on Combice until this past Monday. So.
Well, I think
COMM
what we did get is an indication, I believe somewhere along the way, was the small
COMM.
contractors, because of the size of this,
Yeah.
because we're
There's
300 odd
two
pages,
state
we're less
websites,
likely to get
Combice
into
is
that,
the second.
because it takes somebody dedicated to looking through it. and actually-
How
The
does it
bigger
work?
guys probably
Um,
have staff
but it's
such
like
that,
we're
or
comparing
experience
numbers
with, and
between
it lends itself
Okay.
more to their advantage. But it's out there. Thank you very much for that, and
yeah.
hopefully some good things will happen. I mean, see what they are. And again, meeting the criteria is going to be a big part of this. But it's thankfully, again, is moving forward at last. Alrighty. Next on the agenda, we have Director's Evaluation Process and Format. And what we're going to, I'd like to distribute to you today, each of you, is the Performance and Planning Appraisal Document for the town of Dudley. And let's see that our two missing members get these. And would ask if you would to have those completed. Next meeting, jumping down here, is May 16th. If I could have those by May 1st, that would be great. All you need to do is just drop them off in the library. You can put them in an envelope. I have a folder behind the circulation desk,
Mhm.
my name on it. If you put them in there, and then the thought would be that Mr. Craver and I will sit down and compile this information. The way the thing works, and I've talked to Mr. Ruder a couple of times, as he understands it, the only person in the town of Dudley who gets a live, such as this format, if you will, evaluation is him, the town manager.
Oh, I wish we knew that last year.
Well, this is,
the new
well, there's
I
a,
hate doing that.
The new employee handbook sets very
2-6,
specifically
came into effect in
that,
February. It's page 39
Yeah.
for reference there.
but very specifically says that all evaluations should be confidential, which is hard to do when it's.
Except for his, apparently.
Yes,
He gets,
he gets done, but the rest of us.
he gets, well, so
So we
again,
submit these to
I'm sorry?
you,
Yep.
and then what happens?
Well, then I will sit down with Mr. Craver and we will compile, and then we will make available to you the compilation that we come up with in terms of what the numbers are. In other words, an average. Somebody says 5 and
Yep.
somebody says 20, we'll come up with
Yep.
whatever the halfway point is there. And, again, it will be available to you, but, we will not be going through that process as a.
So after you make that that you do that, can we go into executive session to say that?
Well, here's the problem with executive session. With executive session, we still need
There's
minutes.
still minutes, so it is
And
not
at
a
some point,
confidential
executive
process.
session minutes have to be made public.
Well, I just don't feel that you're just taking our stuff under advisement. That doesn't mean that.
Well, it would still be
That
at
would be-
at a future meeting, there would still be a motion made as far as Priscilla's position, because her contract will expire. We're just trying to be in conformity with the employee handbook, which went into effect in February. And that's my understanding in conversation with Mr. Ruder as to how we would proceed. And there would be an open vote in terms of, as far as contract is concerned, going forward.
But, so everyone will see
Would have
We'll
access
see
to.
the compilation.
We'll have to have access to it, yes. Which is what would have happened, I think, last year anyway, under the old mechanism or process, if you will. So if you could, again, by May 1st, would appreciate that. The other thing is, we have a couple of members of the board who will be retiring, so we'll want their input. Thank you for I want to thank you again for being part of the board, but we want this last little bit of your input, and obviously we'll address Mr. Baggett as well. So again, I have a folder in the library, on the circulation desk, and if you could put an envelope in there, it would be appreciated.
Has anyone taken out papers?
Not that I
No.
know.
To date, no one has taken them out. And
So we'll, but.
we've approached a number of our regular patrons about it and not gotten a very, shall we say, enthusiastic response to.
The unfortunate thing is that in terms of taking out papers, this is kind of a late to do so. You kind of have to, you have to get them in pretty soon. So somebody would have to, quite frankly, have to scramble in terms of collecting it. One of the things I've found out is one of the places that people used to go to for signatures at the recycling center, they're only open 2 days a week. So what used to be pretty much available to you is not. I mean, finding people is a bit of a chore, and they're apparently not very welcoming in front of Park and Shop either. I tried that at one point. So.
Did you go to the meeting last night? Because there was a.
No, I didn't. Actually.
They had a Club Jigger. They had a full parking lot on the way here. The owner's very
Thank you
nice.
for that thought, yes.
I met her in a Board of Health meeting during COVID. She's very nice. I'm
She
sure
is
she'd
very
be
nice.
happy to have you sit in the bar.
You know what, her name escapes me right now, it's two sisters. She's working Trenton, Anna.
Anna? Okay, all right. So we got a little commercial plug in there for Club Jigger.
But, you know,
The
I've
political
never,
center of Dudley.
I've never been in there, but I've met the owner. I'm sure she'd be.
Well, I'm sure they'd appreciate your patronage.
The meeting last night was a full house.
You had a good group there in that one. The first one was poorly attended.
Oh, I know.
I think the interest is starting to finally get. One of the members of the Board of Selectmen, Mr. Morrison specifically, had mentioned several times, I think that it takes 5 to 7 times for people to really understand something, to really get into it. So I don't know whether we're at the 3 or 4 now, but we're getting close to the 5 to 7 threshold. We have board member comments and or observations. That's always an open can of worms. Joyce, do you have anything you want to share with us this evening? All right. Adriana?
I've shared enough today.
All right. Well, no, good things. I mean, it's good to bring these things out.
And to talk openly about it.
Well, talk openly about it, and if something good can come of that, or some change, or something necessary or in order, we certainly want to look at that as a possibility. And that's all we're looking at, is possibilities and trying to get things, make them better.
I take it back, my comment would be, I would like to, move forward and look at how we can make things happen versus always think we can't do that.
Right.
Like, I wanna brainstorm and be open to, how can we make that happen? How
Right.
can we make things happen?
And
Like, I love your idea about doing the collaboration, and let's see if we can do something like that with other libraries, so that we can share stories and
Yeah.
whatever, and have more options for our kids at different times of the year.
Good. No, I appreciate that.
You know,
It is, we are customer driven. Obviously, we have children certainly very, if you look at the building, it's 1/2 of it, I'm not sure exactly, but certainly a large percentage of it is the children's section. And they are, even though they can't, as 4 and 5-year-olds, express their opinions in all cases, but they are part of our community, and we certainly want to provide for them.
I think that's why I'm trying to fight so hard for them, because I think the children of Dudley need diversity and they need more services. And this only comes from a place of love. I want to offer as much as possible to our children, and I'm really, really disappointed that it's such a small thing. It's just some books and some toys. Yeah, we say we cannot offer them, but we'll keep an open mind and talk about it.
Right. Unfortunately, in that discussion, we do have to consider resources
Yeah,
available.
absolutely.
Whether they're financial or personnel, there are some issues there that can't be fixed quickly or even easily, if you will. Kathy?
Looks like I'm still writing.
Oh, okay. You've done a masterful job, I think, there. Sandy, we're still broadcasting, we're still on, okay, good.
I had a question about, the bad movie of the month. Can we switch that to
The good. Sorry.
something?
I don't know why we have to keep it, just because it's scheduled to be.
Right,
It's like,
I mean, we can.
When can we change it to
Yeah.
rather
Well,
than
it's
that?
the
Because
last
I
one-
noticed we don't have that many.
The last one is in
that
June.
can. Okay.
The last one's in June,
Yeah.
and we'll swap something out in
why do
the
we have to
spring.
wait till then? That's my thing. Why do we have to wait till then when it's something
You don't
that
want the
really
killer
isn't-
clowns, or is that what that's
Isn't
gonna be?
getting the.
I mean, all
It's
right,
not
I
getting
will,
a lot
I
of-
would
I
love to
can
come up with
cancel.
something else,
I'll
that's all.
cancel.
Yeah,
and
like we could do
we'll
like a patriotic theme or classic
Killer clowns
movies
from outer
that
space.
We did
bring people
classic,
together,
we did
you know?
classic movies pre-COVID and we got about the same numbers.
No, we're not
Oh,
gonna do that, we
yeah,
wanna
well,
find something else.
I'll talk to the staff and see if they will, all right, we'll cancel the rest of them.
Right.
I'll mark.
It just
the-
seems like there's not that many people
No.
coming, and then it was a cute idea, but if it didn't fly, maybe something that would get people coming in, or even like a Disney kind of a movie, because, you know,
Disney is
adult-
not covered by our movie list. We
okay.
cannot show Disney films.
How about, some, well, I'm not sure.
That is-
family
that
type
would
of
be
movie
an
rather
ex-
than
How about
it's not
Pixar?
Disney.
Like, I don't know, like.
No, but just even if it's not Disney, something that a family can watch together,
Yes.
Right, right.
rather than a little children's
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
That, you know, I mean,
Family movie.
my daughter's in her 30s and she loves to watch kids' movies, and she's
Yeah,
bringing
like I
kids
said, I'll
and that kind of
brainstorm
thing.
with the staff and see what else they wanna do,
Right.
and I'll cancel
Maybe it's
the
not
rest of them.
movies, maybe the staff will come up with something else.
Well,
Yeah, or even,
well,
you know,
Would-
plays or small one-person play kind of thing,
Something.
you know?
Like I said, we'll brainstorm, but I'll cancel the rest of them, I'll have to tell them if they get it, they get off the
I do
calendar.
have a question about that. I feel like we're always trying to figure out what the public would like, what the kids would like, what the adults would like. Would it be possible for us to create some sort of survey and have people actually tell us, we are interested in this, we like these types of movies, we like these types of books, and I don't know, put it on the website, and then we actually have some real data instead of just guessing.
Does it cost to do like
Like a survey monkey, yeah.
Like,
I mean, yeah, we'll do something, we'll put it on Facebook and the website and be like, hey, tell us what programs you wanna see.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
Kate,
Something we might not think of something that people are looking for.
Yeah.
I know occasionally, what is it, the bookstore in Webster, the name of which escapes me right now.
Book lovers
They-
gourmet.
Right, they have authors in there. And just about a week and a half, I guess, maybe 2 weeks ago, I was able to go to a presentation by Nathaniel Filbert. This was about his travels with George book. He's written several. He's
I
actually
can't afford him to.
can't afford him. Well, from what I understand,
Can't afford
he's,
toys, you can
from
afford
what I
that.
understand,
Nathaniel-
he's living in Woodstock now.
Nathaniel Filbert costs about $10,000 for an
Oh,
appearance,
those-
which
I
I
don't
know.
think Book Lovers Gourmet would pay that.
No, I was thinking the library.
The difference is when they go to bookstores like that, it's to publicize their books at a place where
Right.
people will buy them. For us, like, this is why when we have Peter Heller coming in May, that we're, collaborating with Webster to make it happen.
Yep.
If we were having Peter Heller come, like, to Book Lovers Gourmet to talk up his latest book, there wouldn't be a cost, cause he's being like, hey, buy this, but
Right.
it's $15,000 for him to come.
So why? We can't promote and sell his.
Well, let me just say this, in terms of the situation in Uxbridge, I don't know whether if he had actually, the book that he was speaking about, his most recent publication, involved some of the people that were part of the Historical Society in Uxbridge, so he may have been doing it somewhat of a favor to them, I'm not sure. But I know for a fact he sold a lot of books
Yeah,
that day.
and
There must have been 200 people
Is
there
that
easily.
something the libraries aren't allowed to do?
We're not supposed to sell stuff like that because we
Really?
have to, yeah, because we'd have to, if it's on it's in our property, we are responsible for making sure that sales tax is collected. You have to make sure that, at least that's always been the law.
I've never had that happen anywhere I've bought books.
Well,
But,
they,
Sales tax is collected.
okay, well, we don't do sales tax with the book sale, but I've seen it taken out with special.
no, they're a 501c3.
Okay, but I think what
They're
happened,
in a whole
actually,
different category.
again, this is a situation that I saw, was witness to in Uxbridge. Book Lovers Gourmet were there, they were selling the books,
Yep.
and he was autographing.
Right.
And the Historical Society in the town of Uxbridge had no involvement with it, other than providing a building and a site. I don't know if we could arrange something with them, because he
Sure, I'll
did a
see her
great
at a-
presentation.
I see her
This
at a
is the
meeting
second
next
time I've
month,
seen
so-
him. And again, from what I understand,
very
he's
nice
somewhat
to get
local now.
Oh, yeah, I see
So,
her, I see her monthly in the one book meetings for Webster, so. Talk to her, I'll see her on
Yeah,
the 20th, I think.
I know she tries to bring authors in the location, which is small. If we could partner with them in some way, shape, or form, we have opportunity in terms of a
And
larger
find
setting.
out, like, kind of the ins and outs of, like, how can you sell books, like, is that, like, what
What's
are
the
the ins and
process?
outs, and if we can, like, I don't see why
So
not.
someone could volunteer to do that to be the.
Well, like, book lovers came in to sell the book.
Right.
You know what I mean? If
And
that's
the-
an option.
Right, and the Fells
sure.
Room would certainly accommodate more people if she could get into the location there. Just
What
the,
about local, we could put a thing out for local authors who
We've
might
had
want
oh,
several
sure.
come. We've had several come
Yeah.
to the library in the past couple of months with a couple of children's authors who are local come.
All right, well, I was thinking more of the adults, but that's, children certainly would be a good thought too. Well, that's another taking this in a somewhat different direction. So, just in summary, the big thing coming up will be the book sale, starting on April 20th. And hopefully, get things available at very reasonable prices, and people are certainly welcome to.
There's a lot, come by lots of books.
Lots of
The deal
books.
is we don't ever want to see them again. We have to stay away.
Well, actually, you could get them back and then
No.
resell them again next year.
I don't want them back.
All right,
I want-
well, at
Do
any
you
rate.
have a company that comes in though, like at the end and buys?
So we
like,
are, the
whatever's not
Friends,
sold?
the Friends just met yesterday to finalize, and so, a couple of boxes go, like the little free library at Ben Craver's Church.
Okay.
Takes a couple of boxes. I take a box of children's books to the little free library in my neighborhood. So some of them go off.
Do we donate any to like the seniors, like the senior housing?
They,
Good thought.
have not necessarily wanted or passed up, they want newer books mostly, but we have offered them to her. But then, it's usually Travelers Restaurant
Oh,
comes
okay.
in,
All right.
comes
Yeah,
in,
okay.
takes most of them.
Okay.
Um,
All right, I don't know, try that.
And then,
one
of
if
course,
there's any
the
clients that
Friends,
be
Monday after the book sale, they will all be sorting to figure out what they're keeping for their ongoing book sale and what goes far away.
interested. Okay. Well, sounds good. Something to look forward to. And tentatively, I have our next meeting date is May 16th. That would be before the election, so Kathy will hopefully have you with us on the 16th of May.
When is the date?
The election is the 25th, oh, sorry, it will be after well, there are two elections. The election, as far as the override, is the 25th of
Right, that's
April.
April.
Right, and the June election will determine the
Right,
bottom.
because they're usually here.
Yeah, so May 16th would be the next meeting. Anyone have any conflicts with that now?
No, I don't think so.
No? I don't
And
know.
is that the
But-
fourth? That's not the fourth.
No, it's not.
No, so, yeah, I know we switched, it's not,
It's
it's not
earlier.
the fourth,
But we
But
were near the
part of
fourth.
it-
Thursday of the month, but we had to
Part
change
of-
it in February.
We had, and part of that is because, that gives everyone time to review the bids, that come in for the vacant lot project before the 30-day. So we have 30 days after the opening of the bids to either award a contract or decide that we're not going forward with it, so
Okay, so we
we need the time.
I guess I'm confused. You need what time? I'm saying this isn't the
We,
fourth.
we need, no, it's not, but we need to approve and assign the bid to somebody by, before the end of the month in May.
Yeah.
So we need time to discuss it and everything and decide what to do before they can go ahead, but we need the earlier time.
Okay.
And put May 18th, please, on your calendars, that Peter Heller will be coming to Webster. And since the Webster folks have graciously invited us to, invited our library to kind of join in.
What time is that?
I believe it's at 6:30. Quote me on that. I think it's.
It'll be,
it's on our
be
calendar.
posted in the library and on the website.
Oh, it will be posted everywhere. I'm picking up the posters next week for everything. And the adult book group is reading his book, The Dog Stars, this month, so that should be fun.
Alrighty, thank you. Chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All right, no discussion there, I don't think. Is there? All those in favor? Aye. Okay, and Kathy, you've got.